You know, for a person whose entire existence went from a static JPEG of a two-dimensional edgelord to a static JPEG of the same edgelord, but now fully modeled in 3D, I see a lot of people online complaining about stuff that other people do without taking into account whether the complaints have any real point to them. Especially when it comes to people on the internet and video games. I don't care what genre you're a fan of. If you've watched enough videos on YouTube, there is someone out there making a cuss-filled rant that turns out to be much ado about nothing. So I, being the crafty, edgy meme lord that I am, have made this video skit, whatever the heck this ends up being, in order to illustrate the difference between two very different things. Namely, hyperbole versus valid, justified criticism. Hey dude, can you pass me the grapes?
Grapes? I hate grapes!
Why?
Well, once, when I was 12, a buddy of mine dared my brother and I to a contest of who could eat the most grapes.
And then what?
But then my brother accidentally swallowed a grape and started choking, and he nearly passed out.
So...
He could have died, man! Grapes are like little green and purple demon seeds!
You realize that's more on the three of you making a dumb, poorly thought out decision than the grapes actively being out to kill you or something? That whole skit that I just showed you is not valid criticism. That random dude chick's brother nearly choking to death on a grape because of some grape eating contest gone wrong is not the grape's fault. Just because the dude was choking on them does not suddenly mean the grapes became sentient and were out for cold blood. Now, since this whole video of mine brings up the topic of video games, let's get back to that and try to offer a different approach. Hey, Jules. Hey there, what's your plan? It's this game called Squidlit. It was only a few bucks. You want to try it out? No thanks, it's not my kind of game. You sure? It's only about a half hour's length. Yeah, I know. I almost beat it. Well, what stopped you? Well, I did get to the final level, but I don't know, there were some things here and there that didn't sit well with me. Such as? Well, for one thing, the enemy placement in some parts of the game can be kinda cheap. The level layouts, they work just fine, but some of them feel like a bit more thought could have gone into them. And the final level? Sure, the game's only 30 minutes, but the difficulty seems to ramp up a bit unevenly in the final level. And then there's the point about saving. You can save in this game? That's the thing. You can't. So if you get ticked off of the final level and exit out of the game, you have to do the whole thing all over again, adding up to 30 minutes or more, completely lost down the drain. That said, it is pretty low in price, so I'm not too bummed out about it. See, the difference there is that instead of going on some tangent about something that ultimately has nothing to do with the game, I first started with what I liked about the game before I launched into the negatives, thus giving me time to point out what the game does right rather than painting in broad strokes and making it seem like I had a much worse experience with it than I actually did. Then, when asked about why the game didn't click, then I listed the flaws I experienced. See, starting with the flaws might have grabbed more attention, but the longer you go on with that, the more people may think you have nothing good to say about your topic at all. And that there is the slippery slope between valid criticism and complaining. If all you have to say is what's wrong about something, there becomes less and less room to explain how the person, place, or thing you're ranting about can improve. And if you have no idea how something could have worked out better, then that's not criticism. That's you bashing on something because, I don't like this thing. And look, I'm not here to say that it's not okay to dislike something. But there's a difference between saying, this ain't for me, and making a game publisher out to be the spawn of the devil himself. My point is, if you don't like something, that's fine, but you should be able to properly point out examples of why you don't like X, Y, or Z thing, instead of launching into some spiel about grapes being a hazard that has nothing to actually do with grapes. Crap, now I'm hungry. Ow!